Tonight, there are new questions about the deaths of two men inside the Cuyahoga County Jail, Fred Maynard and Glenn Williams. Together, their deaths are raising serious concerns about the way jail staff responds in an emergency. News 5 investigator Scott Knoll, in collaboration with the Marshall Project Cleveland's Mark Puente and Brittany Haler, spent the last year looking for answers.
Rob, it's now 6 years since a U.S. Marshals review called conditions inside the Cuyahoga County Jail, quote, inhumane. It came after 7 inmates died in 4 months. Since then, there have been criminal indictments and promises of reform. Most agree things have gotten better, but there are still serious problems. We have to warn you, some of what you're about to see may be disturbing, but it's video the men's families want you to see.
Oh my God.
Their answers Tanya Anderson waited 8 months to get.
That is not right. My God. Oh, Jesus.
The folder filled with handwritten notes details her struggle to find out what happened to her nephew.
I don't believe this.
Glenn Williams Jr. was 39 years old when he died. His family had no idea he was in Cleveland until the phone rang January 10th, 2024. It was the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department.
I was just devastated. I'm like, I can't believe they wait until he passes to call me.
Anderson says her nephew lost both parents when he was young. Her mother stepped in to raise him, but died while Williams was in jail, leaving Anderson trying to piece together what happened to Williams, despite roadblock after roadblock.
I'm a type of person, if I believe something's not right, I'm going to keep calling until I get answers.
Have you ever gotten those answers from Cuyahoga County Jail?
Nope. All I got was to run around.
According to records obtained by News 5 investigators and the Marshall Project Cleveland, Williams was sentenced to 27 days in the county jail for misdemeanor assault. Video shows the 39-year-old sitting at a table when suddenly he collapsed to the floor. Within seconds, a corrections officer is seen using his radio as other inmates head to their cells. The officer walks the perimeter of the unit, checking cell doors, not Williams. Eventually, a second officer responds, but he doesn't render first aid either. Finally, more than a minute after Williams collapsed, appearing unresponsive, another officer grabs Williams' arm, not to take a pulse, but to handcuff him. Anderson calls what she watched terrible.
What kind of people are they? They're not doing anything but just walking around my nephew Glenn Williams Jr. body and not even trying to help him or revive him.
The video shows more than 9 minutes pass before anyone starts CPR on Williams. Eventually, he was taken to the hospital where he died. When reporting Williams' death to the state, an associate jail warden wrote, the inmate was swiftly transported to the medical dispensary where life-saving measures, including CPR, were administered. Anderson says that's not what she watched.
No one swiftly did anything. No CPR, nothing. They all walked around the body, did absolutely nothing. So that's a lie for the report they had for the state. And that is wrong.
She's not alone in her criticism.
We see a failure to deliver what would be considered adequate emergency medical care for Mr. Williams.
Eric Yeager is a paramedic, EMS educator, and expert in emergency response. Did Cuyahoga County Jail employees that day give Mr. Williams the best chance at surviving this that he could have had?
No, they did not.
And it's not just Williams. Fred Maynard was in jail for failing to appear in court on a drug charge. That's him in the wheelchair in the video. Investigators say he was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Then you see him signal, something's wrong. A jailer walks over and begins trying to dislodge the sandwich caught in Maynard's throat. There's no audio on the recording, but the officer appears to ask for help. Within seconds, medical staff arrives. But after a minute of choking, Maynard's head falls back. Yeager says that's where the problem occurs.
Mr. Maynard should have gotten immediate CPR once the Heimlich failed and he became unresponsive, and that clearly doesn't happen here for an extended period of time.
Video shows once again 9 minutes pass before anyone starts chest compressions. In Yeager's words, dooming Maynard. He was pronounced dead at the hospital.
I think in Mr. Maynard's case, the care is clearly negligent and substandard.
In a statement, Maynard's former wife wrote in part, "We feel this was a wrongful death that could have been avoided." Yeager says the two cases should cause concern.
It appears that you need to cycle back and reevaluate whether the folks who are responding to these emergencies have received appropriate medical training.
Inspection results from 2019, 2021, 2022, and 2023 all found the jail out of compliance with training requirements, twice involving staff CPR training. A union representative for the corrections officers says more jailers are now receiving that training, but what he said next was almost unbelievable.
There is no discussion of jail policies on what you're supposed to do with this training. There's no discussion of how you're supposed to use it.
There's nothing that says in a medical emergency you have to perform CPR.
I have never seen a policy, nor did any of the officers who've worked there for decades that I talked to say they've ever seen a policy. They are just supposed to notify people that there is potentially a medical emergency.
Does that seem logical?
It doesn't seem logical, especially in light of that they've tried to get everybody captured in CPR training.
It may be why the sheriff's department says no one was disciplined in connection with the deaths, although the state did find the jail out of compliance with state standards in the Williams case. According to an inspector, Williams reported numerous times over several days to medical staff that he was having medical issues, but those issues were not addressed in a timely manner. The county says it provided training to fix the issues. The medical examiner found Williams died of a ruptured aortic dissection. Experts call it a catastrophic cardiac event, leaving his family to wonder, what if help hadn't taken so long?
Who's to know to say that he could have lived if someone would have took action to try to help him?
You're a family of faith.
Yes, I am.
Can you forgive what you saw on that tape?
I can forgive, but I won't forget. If I have unforgiveness in my heart, then God does not hear none of my prayers. So therefore, I can forgive him, but I won't forget what I just saw on that video. That was unlawful. That was wrong.
When asked about the Williams case last summer, Sheriff Harold Patel called it, quote, horrendous. But when we asked the sheriff and county executive to comment on what we discovered, a county spokesperson declined. She says legal counsel advised against it, citing pending litigation. So far, neither Williams nor Maynard's families have filed lawsuits. I'm News 5 investigator Scott Knoll.